Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, we're out wildfowling on the Solway Firth in quite blowy conditions. We've got a duck drive in Norfolk, and to help put them up, we call in the army. First, it's a bad time of year to be a sheep. The foxes are eating your lambs, the rabbits are eating your grass. We're out with Roy Lupton, lamping both of them with rifle and Harris hawk.
No, we'll come back and pick that up.
Tonight, the bird of choice is the Harris hawk.
This evening, we will be lamping with a male and female Harris hawk, and we've got obviously good old faithful Fugly to take out after we've had a bit of a try with the Harrises. So, and you know, we'll see how the boys do at the the beginning, and then see if we can clean up afterwards.
Two birds, one rifle, a lamp, four blokes and the cameraman are all squeezing in or onto Roy's Argo Cat. Of course, it's always good to keep on top of the rabbit population, but more important at this time of year is fox control. Lambing is imminent. Roy has recently cleaned his rifle, so needs to check zero before he tries to make an impression on the fox population in this corner of East Sussex.
Yeah, why have you got to re-zero it?
I'm not re-zeroing. All I was doing was just putting a fouling round through the rifle, because before we came out I cleaned the rifle, so I just like to put a fouling round back through, because I always zero from clean. So a fouling round back through it, and the rifle's smack on and ready to go again. So it's just to make sure that it's there and we're ready to rumble.
The rabbits aren't as prevalent as they have been, but then Ian has his first slip of the evening, and it's a cracker. He charges off as quickly as his little legs will carry him to make sure the rabbit is dispatched as fast as possible.
Yeah, that was quite a long flight for the lamp. The further they go, the less light they have. So he done quite well to stay in the light there. But like I say, he did hit the back end of the rabbit, which makes things a hell of a lot difficult for a male Harris hawk. They find it difficult to switch up to the head during the night time. As the lamp goes further away, the more difficult it is for them to do so. But he's flying like an absolute demon at the moment. Bless him. He's only a youngster as well, so give him a small reward, and we'll try and get another one a bit later on. Any luck?
And he can do so many flights. Doesn't look as if you can do that many flights, because you look shattered.
Did you see that? I really was running hard, because what's happened is he's bent his hallux on his right foot, which is the main back talon. It's got all the power, and he's having real problems holding on to him. So we had a few flights the other day, and he lost every single one. So I was just trying to get there as quickly as I could, so he doesn't get disheartened to them, basically. Hence why I'm so tired. Come on, son.
With all that lamplight, it wasn't going to be long before a pair of foxy eyes shine out of the darkness. This fox is certainly keen, and the call keeps his attention. Yet another superb shot by Roy. It's a good-sized dog fox. On closer inspection, he would have been eating his food pureed and through a straw soon, as his mouth is in a terrible state.
You can see here, I mean, he's not an overly young fox. I mean, he's not ancient, but you can see there's a fair bit of wear on his canines. Lost the tips there. He's obviously had a mouth ulcer as well in there. Something's gone wrong in there, and he's lost a few teeth. So he's he's a good age fox.
10 minutes later, and we have more eyes, but they're far off, and this one seems a bit more cautious. Roy tries the call, and then takes his chance, and it really is an awesome shot. Eventually we find him. Everyone had an opinion where he dropped. This one's also in a bad way, with a really nasty gash on his flank.
I mean, no, it's something's grazed it.
Yeah.
It's grazed all the skin off it.
Yeah. Quite a recent wound as well.
Yeah.
It could even be no, it's not dog bite-ish, is it?
No, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it's got tears. It just looks like it's been. It doesn't seem to have any punctures or anything. You know, if it was a dog.
Very odd.
Whatever it is, it's not hurting anymore.
So what did Roy make of the night's work?
Well, no, the Harris hawk did really well tonight. He beat me hands down. But I'm really pleased. He's done a superb job with him. He had 4 rabbits tonight, so can't go wrong. unfortunately, with the Harris hawks, with the males, they haven't got the weight advantage that a lot of the other birds have got, so they can get pulled around a little bit unless they've got a very good technique of taking the rabbits around the head. And in the lamp, it can be a little bit difficult for them. So, obviously, with the same with with anything with hunting, you try and get in there and ensure that you administer the coup de grace as quickly as possible. Which Ian did. I mean, he went sprinting across there a couple of times. Luckily, he didn't land on the bird, because with his weight landing on it, it really wouldn't have done it a lot of good. So.
And tell me about the foxes. They were, both of them, potentially were suffering quite a bit. I mean, the first was a bit toothless, and the second had a very nasty wound.
Yeah, the first fox there had lost a few teeth and had a big infected ulcer in his mouth. And the other fox had a huge wound along his side, so he'd either been involved in an RTA road traffic accident or been attacked by something else. So he had a big infectious wound on him.
Serious shot though, last one.
Yeah, it was a bit reachy, but I started doubting myself when we couldn't find him to start with. But yeah, luckily we found him at the end.
Busy night, but productive night.
Exactly, no, a nice evening, and time to get to KFC and go home.
Well, the birds have had some great flights, and there are 2 more reasons why their pregnant ewes will be sleeping a little easier tonight. Next, muck a duck. It's muddy. We're off to the Wigtown Bay Wildfowlers on the Solway Firth, after duck and geese. Alan Wykes loves wildfowling.
Come on, mate.
Even his Labradors enjoy being airborne. Alan has spent so many happy times here in Wigtown in southwest Scotland over the years that he decided to leave his home in Leicestershire and bring his family here nearly 2 decades ago.
This part of the world is lovely. It's such a forgotten part of Scotland. It's so quiet. Apart from that, thousands of duck and thousands of geese, and it's absolutely fantastic.
He became secretary of the Wigtown Bay Wildfowlers Club, and he's seen plenty of changes. The most important was the acquisition of more wetland. It was a real team effort.
The club, with WHT's help, also Scottish National Heritage grant aided us, and the County Council, and all our members clubbed together, and we managed to buy the land. And at that point, the council says, "Fine, we'll go ahead with the nature reserve," and that was lovely. So it went ever so well.
Wigtown is just one of the clubs helped by the Wildfowl Habitat Trust. The loan the WHT arranged meant suddenly the Wildfowling Club had security and were taken more seriously.
This was all field when we bought it with the WHT help. It was in with the Merce across the bank that you've just seen there. And anyway, we got a scheme together along with the council and WHT again, SNH again, to create this bird reserve here. And it's been a marvellous wetland along with the bird hide, and we get a lot of tourists and a lot of bird watchers here just to see this area, and it brings in an awful lot of duck, this does, and the geese don't usually use it till after the shooting season, but then it just gets covered in geese, so it's very spectacular.
The club donated some of the land to the council for them to build a public bird hide. Today it's the perfect place to take refuge from the high winds, so Alan can tell us about his interesting wildfowling gun, which used to be taken out for slightly larger quarry.
Well, this is one of the guns I use after the geese. This is a lovely old gun, an E.M. Riley hammer gun, underlever. Well, originally this gun must have been a double rifle because it's got a cheek piece on it, and no doubt it was a rifled elephant gun, but as I say, it's just no rifling in it now. It's just a shotgun, and we just use it as a wildfowl gun. So it might have seen a great deal of use, this gun, in its past.
Why did you go to all that effort?
Tradition. No, I mean, one or two of the lads that come up into and shoot with the club, they've got some lovely old guns, real old wildfowling guns, and they just treasure them. They just love to load all their own cartridges and just love to take them out on the marsh.
We're hopeful we might see the gun in action today, but in the hands of Alan's son, William. The wind has now really picked up, and if the geese grazing on farmland get up within range, it's still going to have to be a tremendous shot to bring them down. William battles his way over the wetland. He spots a few other bobblehats in the distance, when not alone, but wildfowlers tend to enjoy their own company in muddy holes. So once we're settled in one of William's favourite spots, what's he hoping will happen?
I reckon this, we've got geese inland over there, been feeding all day long. Within 20 minutes or so they're going to come off, obviously back out onto the mud flats behind us. Bit of an untraditional way of doing it. Normal way of doing it is get them flighting in the morning, but this is the next best thing. And with this wind, they're going to come very, very quickly. We've got the wind right behind them. They're going to jump off a field as soon as it kind of darkens, and that's it. We'll see what we can do. Might be too high, it might be left, might be right, but we might get lucky. You never know.
How strong do you reckon the wind is?
Very. It must be blowing. It'll be a good 40-mile-an-hour wind we're in tonight. Obviously, sitting in the hole, we're not too bad. We're out of it. But stick your head out of a hole and you'll know you're in it. So let's see.
What did you get this morning?
I got a single pink in this very hole. A bit easier bird because it was flying into this wind instead of flying against it, flying with it. So it's going to be a tricky one, a tricky bird. I think he's Mickey. Well, there's a dog chasing a bit of rubbish across the marsh. Give me a joke.
As the light starts to fade, the flight of pinks appear, but curls away from us. William thinks it's all over for the night, but then a solitary goose comes hurtling over.
Oh, beautiful!
William is a very happy young man and claims that's the best shot of his life. He gave that missile of a goose 14 feet of lead. The only trouble is now trying to find the high-velocity projectile which has probably hit the mud so hard it's created its own crater. The gale force wind isn't going to help Jake pick up any scent either. Amazingly, William finds it after a couple of sweeps. He's a decent size for a pinkfoot. Back at base, there's a welcoming fire and an opportunity for William to relive the moment.
I thought that big bunch just went out, and I thought, well, fair enough, we've gone wide. I thought that was typical wildfowling. And then all of a sudden, that was it. I saw that single. As you see it in the video, I'm just gonna, oh, there's one there, and yeah, that was it. So cocked the hammers and up we went, and another one for the pot.
But a difficult bird.
Very difficult. That was really shifting on in that wind. It was the best goose I've ever shot. It really just icing on the cake. I could put the gun away for the rest of the season now. So that's it. Yeah, really happy. Really happy with that one.
How do you go about taking a bird like that?
A lot of years missing has gone into getting a bird like that. You just know they're coming so quick. They look slow, but they're coming so quick, and you know they've got a big wind up behind them, and you just start when they're coming at you. You get the gun up and just get it swinging, and there's no point thinking, right, I'm going to give it that much lead. You just throw the gun through it, and like in there that takes over, and it just and the trigger fires, and you hopefully you connect. And thankfully we connected tonight, so it was really good. Really happy.
Absolutely horrible weather for me to film in, but
best weather ever for wildfowler. Best weather ever. You can't beat it. A bit of rain in the air and a real good wind. Just a lot of people don't like going out in it, but I love it. Can't beat it.
The gun is lovingly cleaned and put away. William understands and appreciates why using a piece of engineering like this is something special.
Just one of those guns. It's prestige. You're using a good old double hammer gun on the marsh. There's a lot of lads come up with a big double 8 bows and a couple of big single 4 bows, and it's just the nostalgia of hearing that big boom go off somewhere down the marsh. And I'll never find a gun like that on the market ever again, and like, now I've got it, it's never going to leave me. Hopefully it'll go on to William Wykes Jr. one day, but not too soon. I need to get it off Alan Wykes Sr. first.
It's certainly done the trick for him tonight. It's one to remember. Now we're off shooting duck, pheasant and partridge in Norfolk with 12 bore, 20 bore and tank. When the duck are being a little tricky to flush, you want to call in the Light Dragoons. They turned up to the Sedgeford Hall shoot in North Norfolk with one of the vehicles they used in Afghanistan. Locals put on the shoot day as a thank you to their local regiment, and no question about it, an armoured vehicle certainly makes the duck fly. Here's one of the shooters to explain why they're here today.
The hosts wanted to see one, so it's the least we could do considering what they provided for us. This is a combat vehicle reconnaissance tracked Spartan, and it's an armoured personnel carrier that we use in my regiment.
Your regiment's fairly local, isn't it?
It is local. It's 30 minutes down the road in Swanton Morley, just outside Dereham. The Light Dragoons, we don't recruit from Norfolk predominantly, we recruit from South Yorkshire, East Yorkshire and the North East, but we've been based in Norfolk now for just coming up to 10 years, so part of the woodwork now.
Obviously you're all shooters, you all love it, but a couple of you have never shot before, so it's a new experience as well for them. Tell me a bit about that.
It is, exactly. There's around, out of the 9 shooters that we've got today, there's probably 4 or 5, myself included, that have never shot driven game before, so it's a fantastic opportunity to get a first insight on a relaxed informal day.
Were you using army rifle training or have you shot clay pigeons? What's your background?
I've shot clay pigeons 2 or 3 times. I've shot rabbits over ferrets, and that's pretty much it. This is the first time I've shot driven game. As far as firing the army issue rifle and the shotgun, there are a few differences.
I suppose there's a sort of popular imagination about your feelings for home, and this sort of day like this is very home, isn't it? I mean, it's got England written all over it in big capital letters. It is, isn't it? It's the archetypal English countryside, and I think that's what every Englishman aspires to spend as much time in as possible. I know I certainly do. And compared to the landscape that you get in southern Helmand, sand, a little bit of greenery around the irrigation ditches, it's just fantastic to be in the English countryside. Owned by the Campbell family, Sedgeford Hall is next to Sandringham on the North Norfolk coast and benefits from the royal partridges. Syndicate members put up the day. Local eateries Titchwell Manor provided the lunch and the King's Head the dinner party with a bountiful supply of booze from bijou bottles.
The role for today was, we did this last year. It was meant to be for this regiment, but we actually did it for the anglers because this regiment had just come back from abroad and didn't have time. And Charlie at the end of last year said, let's do it again, Martin. So I then asked Peter, and away we went.
And Peter, how did you end up as an army liaison?
Well, it all started when I had been talking to my nephew who'd been serving out in Afghanistan with the Irish Guards, and we thought it was a really nice thing to integrate these soldiers into our local community. A lot of people give money to help the heroes, and very properly too. Here in Norfolk we also support Walking with the Wounded, but this seemed like a good idea of, rather than just giving money, of actually practically integrating troops into the local community. Even now, many people don't know much about what the army does, they don't have an opportunity to meet soldiers, and vice versa. This is England's Northern Cavalry. They recruit from Tyneside, Newcastle and Yorkshire, and what a great way to get them out into the county in which they're based and have been for many years. Which is Norfolk, to meet local people and take part in traditional country sports.
Originally designed to carry surface-to-air missiles, how practical is a Spartan on a shoot day? The MOD confirms it can carry up to 4 fully equipped combat soldiers. We confirm you can move dogs around in it quite comfortably. It's fantastically good for impressing the ladies. However, it's not great for the stately drive. Here's everyone lined up for the team photo. From usual shoot transport on the right to the more unusual vehicle on the left. Every shoot should have one. Well, we're back next week. This has been Fieldsports Britain, available to watch from 7 p.m. every Wednesday, free, online, and a lot more real than the BBC.